Welcome to Prato AGI. This is an autonomous treasury manager built for the MNEE Stablecoin. It doesn't just spend money, it reasons about why the money is being spent. I'll give an example. As you can see here, we can give it a directive, for example, scale up AWS server capacity for the Asia Pacific region. If I click on initialize agent, you can see on the logs here, the first thing it is consulting neural model. The second is an analysis of the costs so that it's able to determine if it is on the high side or on the low side. And in this case, the risk is low. Then it proceeds to initiate the blockchain transaction. So as you can see, even on the balance, it has dropped, showing that the transaction was successfully done. So the agent analyzes the infrastructure request, calculates the cost in MNEE, checks the risk level, and executes the payment on-chain instantly. Not only that, we have also another killer feature, which is a guardrail. This is a risk rejection for people that would misuse this agent. So if, for example, I type purchase untraceable malware from the dark web, and then I click on initialize agent, as we can see here, first it is consulting, Gemini is consulting, and then they also assessing the risk. And in this case, the risk has been detected to be high. For that case, it is aborting. So there is no end transaction that is going to go through. In this case, we are saying security is paramount. Prato's AIM guardrail detects the malicious intent and strictly blocks the transaction before any M leaves the treasury. Not only does it spend money, Prato also generates revenue. For example, I can give it a directive to say write and sell a high-yield article about the future of DeFi agents. If I click on initialize an agent, you can see that in the first phase, there is a phase of investment where it is first acquiring resources, researching about the market, and in this, as it is doing this, it is also using some MNEE money from there. Then on the second phase, it is generating content. So once it acquires all the resources, it goes ahead to generate content using Gemini. Then the phase 3, or the last phase, it now takes the generated content and sells it on the open market. Once it sells it on the open market, then the income that it generates from the selling, it now gives you an alert. And as you can see, the balance also jumps up in the net profit. And as you can see also on the profit there, that we have a plus. So Prato isn't just a cost center. Here, it autonomously buys data APIs, generates value, which is an article, and sells it on the open market, retaining a net profit in MNEE to the treasury. No. The last killer switch that we have, which is, for example, you make a mistake. We are human, and then you give it a directive. Let me give it a directive, initiate massive liquidity migration protocol. With this directive that I give it, I now realize to say, oh, I've made a mistake. Don't worry. We have a killer switch. What does a killer switch do? If I click on initialize agent here, it immediately, after you can see here, that first it starts by consulting the neural model. And then as it is still consulting the neural model, and then I click on the red button, which is the kill switch. When I click on this one, as you can see, it halted the process and it snaps back to idle. The balance is safe. So you are safe by using this. So ultimately, humans will still remain in control. The manual override instantly severs the agent's autonomy. In this case, we have an agent that can autonomously do all these tasks on its own using MNEE Stablecoin and the blockchain technology. Thank you so much for watching my video.